Welcome to Amazon Ads Raw Daily with your host, Alex.
Good morning, hello, and welcome everyone. This video is about the search query performance report and how to read the data. My last video was about how to make that report actionable with your own conversion rate metrics and stuff like that, and it seemed to found some resonance with you. So I wanted to produce something that is more basic and explains the report a little bit better, goes into the details of the metrics and how you can use them to your advantage to check your own positioning and competitor positioning over time through this report. And if that is something you like to learn more about, stay tuned and just enjoy the video. All right, so the search query performance report is a report in brand analytics that comes in multiple facets. You'll have the report on a brand level that sums together all your brand on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or a quarterly or even there's no yearly level. There's weekly, monthly, and quarterly, I believe so. You also have the option to go onto a more granular ASIN level. So you could select within brand analytics to get the search query performance report for one specific child ASIN. Obviously, if you have multiple childs, you can download this report for each of the childs by week, by month, by quarter. It has the same time dimensions adjusted to it. And when you download the data, Amazon offers you to download the last, I think it's like 65-ish weeks every week. That is beyond that, previous to these last 65 days, is not available inside brand analytics anymore to download. So I would highly suggest you start downloading these reports so you have them in case you want to do some year-over-year comps and so on and so forth. Year-over-year comparisons is something we will do in another video, where we just talk about time intelligence, month-over-month comparisons, year-over-year comparisons, week-over-week, whatever you want to do. Today is more about, let's say, the fundamentals and the basics. So the report, once you download, it's a CSV file. If you download the brand level data, you'll get 1,000 search queries with it. So Amazon gives you the top 1,000 search queries ranked by a search query score. The search query score is something Amazon has created themselves. It should give you some sort of relevancy. So it's looking at different kind of metrics combined from size and impact to your brand. And this is kind of a good indicator of how relevant a specific search query is to your brand or your ASIN, depending on what level of report you are looking at. One quick side note, I'm not in my usual home studio, so I'm recording over the AirPods, and the sound I know is terrible, but bear with me, I hope you can still get it. All right, so search query score, something from Amazon, giving you some sort of relevancy. You can obviously filter by that, and then you'll find your top search queries. The ones at the lower end are usually ones that are not that relevant, where you also usually don't have enough, a lot of clicks or even purchases. Then next would be search query volume. Search query volume is how often was a specific search query searched for within that given time frame. So here it's week. A search is something that can happen when somebody is looking for it. Obviously, it does make sense for you to, when you look at relevant data, to exclude stuff that has maybe 8 searches or 11 searches per week, because that means there's one person searching for that per day in the whole US or the country of your choice. This is US data. As you can see, this is weekly, week 47 of 2 weeks ago or something like that. So search query volume is an indication of relevancy as well. Obviously, a very low search query volume doesn't make any sense to look at. It's just too low volume of any importance. There's no right or wrong with the volume size, but like 8 search volume per week forget to think about that. That doesn't make sense. Impressions. Impressions is something that is and should be always higher than search volume, because search volume is how often has somebody searched for your query, and impression is how many ads or slots. It doesn't need to be ads, because Search Query Performance Report gives us both organic and paid insights. So it's including sponsored products and organic visibility. So an impression is how often from a given search volume was a product showed. Usually this this factor is kind of stable. One search volume should give you around 20 to 24 kind of impressions, depending on the share of desktop to mobile and so on and so forth. So if you would kind of do a calculation here, you'll come up to a pretty consistent kind of factor that is always kind of similar. So impressions is what we mean with product impressions on the search engine, on the SERP. Impressions brand count. And now one very important kind of differentiator between the metrics, because we will have that across all of the metrics. There's always something that is called metric, double point, total count, and brand count. Total count means all of the X, in this case it's impressions, that have happened within that week on that search query. So this is you plus your competitors. Then you'll get your own stats. Impressions brand count is your impressions that you had with your brand. And then impressions brand share, and brand share is also done on clicks and purchases and so on. Is just the correlation between this and this. So if you divide this by this, this is your impression share. So on this term, we had 0.3% of impression share, meaning 0.3 of all the impressions were ours. To determine if you have a good or a low impression share, you can look at other terms, right? So we can see here we had 7%, here we had 3%, here we had 0.5%, and so on and so forth. So compared with your own data, if it's a branded term, you should see a much higher impression share. If it's a more generic term, it should be lower. We go into details about how to analyze impression shares and click shares and so on a bit more, but I would like to start with just introducing the metrics, and then at the end I'll come to some sort of how you can use the data. All right, then we have the same basically with clicks. So we have clicks total count, we have click brand count, we have click brand share. That's the same like I explained, but instead of impressions, it's clicks. There's one additional metric, click rate. This is not the click-through rate as you know it from advertising. This is total clicks divided by search volume. So instead of using an impression, it's using the search volume. So it's total clicks divided by total search volume. That is the click rate. This is very important to understand because click rate or the rate will come later on purchase as well. So it's not a click-through rate. That is something Amazon doesn't give us. If you would want to have a click-through rate, you would need to divide brand count clicks with brand count impressions, then you have a click-through rate. If you want to do that not only for your own brand, but for the market, meaning total, then you do the same, total clicks divided by total impressions, and then you have a click-through rate on the market. This is two metrics that you would need to create yourself inside a Google Sheet, inside Excel, inside wherever you want to do that. Next up, we have prices. This is not on impressions. This just starts with clicks and then goes over to add to carts and purchases. Prices means what was the, and it also comes in market or total. Here they don't call it total. I don't know why, but it's like just called price median, but it means from the total clicks, the median price, and then from my brand clicks, the median price. We can see here we had 1,300 clicks. My median price on those clicks has been $7. So the product I was showing and that was clicked on this specific term had a median price in that week of $7. The market, however, so on these almost 400,000 clicks, was $8.99. So for this specific search term, my product has a lower median price, or maybe it's even multiple products, right? Because it's brand level. It's aggregating all your products and all the product clicks for that search query. The median price was $7. The median click price on the total market was $9. This is already some sort of opportunity when we come into the optimization part and like analyzing it with optimization. The delta between these two can give you insights into, are you more competitive with your price than the market or not? And that can help you to identify areas where you might want to push PPC. All right, then we have these three: same-day shipping speed, one-day shipping speed, and two-day shipping speed. This is also a very, for me personally, unused area. I have not found any good sources out there that give me kind of ideas on how to use that specific data. The way I understand these metrics is Amazon gives us insights into when a person clicked on a product, would these people, would they see a same-day shipping window, a one-day shipping window, or 2 days on their shipping window? So eventually, this gives us insights into how many, and this is just market again. So this is not our clicks. You can see this is like 100,000, 50,000, 160,000. So this is all the clicks that come from the total count. And from these 400,000, 50,000 had the same day shipping speed. What we can assume is same day shipping speed means they are prime customer. So all of these people here, they are prime customers. One day shipping speed usually also indicates a prime customer, because I'm not sure if non-prime customers would also have a one-day shipping speed advantage. And 2 day shipping speed means it takes longer. What you could do is you could by doing some sort of ratios between these, kind of understand if for that search query, is there higher demand for same-day shipping speeds? Eventually, when you look at this over time, you could see, hey, if the share of same-day shipping speed is high, eventually people, first of all, it's supported, and second of all, maybe it's required as well. All right. This is all the click-based metrics. You can see this is a lot already. So this is like 8-9 different metrics. When I analyze search query performance reports, I try to eliminate the metrics that I don't need for analyzation. I'll come to that at the end, what metrics I'll look at. Some of these, especially these here, I would ignore. Maybe you guys have something that is good to understand there, then I'm happy to learn. But otherwise, I'm kind of ignoring that usually. Now we come to the next fun step, from impressions to clicks to cart ads, or add to carts, and then to purchases. Cart ads works in the exact same way like clicks. However, it's one step further towards the purchase. We have total count on cart ads. We have brand count. We have shares. We have the rate, which is the total divided by the search volume. We have the prices median for our brand cart ads and the market cart ads. This should usually be kind of similar. If you see some discrepancies, that might be an area to look into further. And then we have like these shipping speed metrics here as well. One quick note on how you can analyze the effectiveness of your own funnel is when looking into the shares. If my impression share is 0.3%, but my click share is 0.34 and my add to cart share is already 0.5, that indicates my product is on the journey for the customer more relevant than others. I'm not getting as much impressions as maybe the market in total from a share perspective, but I'm getting much more add to carts. That gives you an insight into, hey, I'm relevant. I'm highly relevant on this search term for this week with my product. And some of this can be derived in this specific case from the price. I'm having the best price on this specific term. I'm 20% cheaper than the market, meaning there should be some leverage coming from that. All right, going to the last part of the metrics is purchase-based metrics. And here we have, again, those kind of eight, nine fields. At the end, we have, again, the shipping speeds. We have the median prices for the purchases. We have the total count, the purchase rate, which is, again, total purchases divided by the search volume, brand count, and brand purchase share. And here we come to the first kind of how to use this data things. And obviously, there's a reporting date field as well. Two things I would suggest to use when analyzing this data. First of all, get rid of all the fields that you don't need. It's many fields. I think it's like over, you can see it goes to HG, which is like, I think 30-ish fields, metrics in total. Remove the ones that you think are not valuable for yourself to analyze. I have not found any good approach to use shipping speeds as of yet. So I'm either hiding them, or when I do a pivot table for checking week-over-week stuff and so on and so forth, which we'll do in another video, I'm just removing them, obviously, from the pivot table, not exposing them there. So shipping speed is something you can easily get rid of, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of these rates. Like, let's say not a fan. I'm not using them. I would use conversion rate because it's something mentally I'm more used to work with. So I would create my own rates, click-through rate, clicks divided by impressions, conversion rate, clicks divided by conversions, and so on. So I'm usually getting rid of the rates as well. That doesn't mean you have to. They're good to use. However, they're a little bit different than what I'm used to work with in advertising. Now, add to carts, for me, not very much important, because what I can influence from a PPC perspective is my visibility. That is here. Eventually, I can influence the clicks a little bit with top of search, rest of search, right? The better I position my ads, the better my click-through rate should be, the better my, click share could be. So I can influence impressions and clicks, but once somebody clicked, my ability to influence add to carts from there is very limited, right? At least with sponsored product ads. And one thing about the SQP reports, it's only including sponsored product data and organic data. Sponsored brand, sponsored display is not included. Widgets are not included. So there's many things which are not included in these reports. So add to carts are something that is usually not something I can directly impact with my PPC. Therefore, I'm not looking at it. Please comment if you see this differently. Then we can have a discussion. And now what I'm left with is these kind of metrics here. Usually, I'm personally also not looking at prices on the click level, because the only thing that matters in the end is the purchase to me. Therefore, I'm removing this as well. And then this is kind of what I'm left with in terms of optimizing and analyzing kind of thing. It's a very much reduced table. And if we want, we can add a few metrics. In the last video, I talked about some. I will do another video on just like adding metrics, I think, instead of wasting the time here. Looking at the time, we're already 20 minutes. So let's see how we can analyze something just from this data already. A few things. If you just look at 1 week, it's usually hard to give context. You usually need some context. Context is given in multiple ways. One way of context is the search queries, of course. Another way of context is time. If we just look at 1 week, we don't know if something is growing or decreasing. So another week is already adding more context. To add another week, obviously, we need to import another CSV file from another week, append this here, do a pivot table, and then sort by reporting date on your metrics that are most important. But without that, obviously, we can just analyze what is going on. Here are a few things I already mentioned and we can do. If our impression share if our shares are increasing over the funnel steps, this is a positive signal. So let me show you that. So here and here and here, this is all going up. With each new funnel step, we are getting more share. That's a highly positive signal. And it could mean if we increase this, let's say we aim for a higher share, the other metrics would increase in a similar way or even in the same exponential growth, right? So you could say, hey, from 0.3 to 0.34 is 10% more. So if I increase this by 50% more, this would also go up by 50% more or something like that. So this would be then, I don't know, 0.7, for example. And then this would be, 0.8 or something like that. And with a share of 0.8, basically doubling our share here, also this would double, right? So instead of 200, we would have 400, and we would increase our revenue from 200 multiplied with 7 to 400 multiplied with 7 by adjusting the PPC to get more visibility, to get more of these impressions here. And now you can use that for an investment case and say, hey, I found some good keywords where we have a clear winning path. Let's try to push more PPC there to increase our market share. Right, this is this one. Increase the market share on this term. This will increase our organic ranks. This will increase our sales. And it should work because we have a very good funnel view. If you are, however, on the opposite side, so your impression share is 2%, your click share is 1%, and your purchase share is just 0.7 cent, this would indicate to me a losing funnel. This doesn't necessarily mean stop doing it, but it means, because one thing, this share here is not just PPC, it's PPC and organic. It doesn't tell you, are we heavily investing in PPC here or not? That is something you would need to add to the table to understand. But what we can see here is we are not winning this. Even though our price is more competitive than the market, we are again $1 cheaper, 10% cheaper, 12, 15% cheaper. Still, it doesn't seem to be as relevant as the market on this search term. So maybe I don't want to push the search term. I just let it run. Right now, it's a time where I would need some more data, like I showed you in my last video, where I attached like the search term report as well, to have conversion rate and spend and ACOS to kind of make a decision here. And then you have something like that, which is like a hibernating status. So we have like a very good impression share. The click share is even higher, but then the purchase share is going down. So somebody is stealing. We are losing the customer. Some customers we are losing here, and then obviously on those, these are the ones where you can clearly see this is a branded term. 7% impression share, meaning Some of our products do show up with our brand, but there's also many competitors showing up, but we're getting 60% of all the clicks, right? People are searching for my brand, and then no matter how many other competitors show up, I'm getting 60%. Now where it gets important is the last part here. 76% of all the purchases on my branded term is what I'm getting. I'm losing 20 sales here to competitors on my own branded term, right? So there's 82 purchases, and all of this data is directional. So maybe it's not 80, maybe it's 800, right? So it's just directionally correct. I'm losing something to competitors, and this is highly important to analyze. So there's a few things I'm always analyzing. Is like funnel step positive, is it negative, or is it like hibernating? And branded. You can highlight your branded terms in the search queries already. You can add another column kind of to check branded versus generic with a regex function. Pretty simple to do. If A1 regex match if blah 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 equals brand root term, then take it branded. If not, it's generic. It's a pretty simple formula that anybody can do, and then you have your branded versus non-branded. And if your branded is on aggregate, there's multiple branded terms here. You can see this also seems to be a branded term. If this is not if this is not above 90% on the share, you are losing money. You're leaving money on the table. You need to be more aggressive with your brand defense strategies. And this can be done going further and further. I'm usually doing this on the most relevant terms, the ones where there's a high volume, obviously, right? So this is a doing something on this term will have a much better impact than doing something on this term, most likely, right? Because I mean, it depends. So here we have a 3% purchase share already. So we are winning. So we are already winning against some or most of our competitors on this term. On this, we are not winning, but this is like, 10 times, 20 times the volume in purchases. So make sure that you are looking at terms that are highly relevant to you, that have a high volume, right? So this term, 6 out of 6 branded term. I can guarantee you that this is a branded term, but 6 out of 6 means nobody's looking for that. Don't waste your time to optimize for those things. Start with the low-hanging fruits. Start with the high volume terms. High volume in terms of sales. Sales is what you're looking for, not search volume. Search volume is great to look for, but in the end, it comes down to search volume. And one metric you can also use to do relevancy is your purchase rate. If the purchase rate is very low, it tells you that this term is for the whole market, more like a shopping term, more like a window shopping term, and not a purchase term. People are entering the market on a certain term. Let's say they're looking for a car vacuum. So the first search they're doing is car vacuum. And then they do car vacuum handheld, car vacuum with battery, car vacuum USB, or whatever. So the first search is something more generic, and then you would see that on the purchase rate. So the purchase rate is low, indicates to you this is a entry term for the search. If the purchase rate is high or higher, right? So this is 2%, this is 15%, it's much higher. It indicates to you it's not an entry term. So when you optimize, look for these things, for the volume and for your funnels. And there's a few more things you can look for, but that's everything for another video. All right, 30 minutes are over. Thank you very much for listening until the end. Stay curious, give me feedback, and see you soon.
Thank you for listening to Amazon Ads Raw Daily. And remember to stay curious.